Hey, good morning, guys. And wherever you are, wherever you're going to be listening from, I just want to send you a happy face, a smiley face. And I just hope that this message finds you in a positive place today and in a good state of mind. And really, we can manage our emotions, and we can manage change. We can manage our mental state. So many things we can manage if we just really just focus on the fact that we have the choice, we have the freedom, we have the God-given gift of being able to rewire our emotional machinery, because we can choose our thoughts, we can choose every single thought, and remembering that every single thought will bring about an emotion. And you could do the exercise for yourself. You can just think right now, maybe close your eyes, picture a lemon, you cut into that lemon. You see all the juice from that lemon oozing down onto the cutting board. You pick that lemon up and you bring it up to your face, bring it up to your nose, and then you put that piece of lemon into your mouth and give it a big bite, and all that juice runs into your mouth. Well, what you've just done right now is you've experienced the emotion and all of the chemical reactions that your body undertakes when you think about something for long enough. So you actually literally create a reality with your mind. We've got to be so very, very careful about the things that we allow to rent space in our heads. And I'm wanting to do this tiny little talk this morning just as I think about my own life in the last 2 years. Exactly 2 years today, I stood in the court, and I got divorced from my ex-wife. It took me a long, long time to have the courage and to get the full conviction that I needed to do that. It took me seven years. I was married for 24 years, but it took me 7 years to actually finally break free from a very toxic environment. And I was busy really causing myself a slow death by remaining in that environment. And whilst I was already a student of all this material, etc., and I knew so much about personal growth and personal leadership, I was really stuck in that toxic environment. And eventually I had to count the cost, and I decided to take the action that would ultimately lead me into a whole different path. And just share that with you very quickly. I'm today, exactly 2 years later, in the most beautiful, healthy, vibrant, God-given relationship with the most incredible woman. I could not have even written the script for what this woman means to me, and what an incredible partner she has become over the last year. So literally, within a short space of me taking the decision to finally end my marriage, the wheels were in motion towards a better life, a life where I feel I've grown so much, I'm able to give so much more value, and I could go on and on and on about that. But essentially, really, it started with me ultimately realizing that I needed to make some decisions for my life, and I had to move beyond my own excuses. And, the amazing thing is, when you make a decision for your life and you are prepared to pay the price in line with the promise that you are visualizing. So you've got to pay the price, knowing that ultimately the price is well worth the promise that you have at the other end of the price. And then you will be able to continue along this journey. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but you are now motivated. You have the desire to move beyond where you are and get yourself unstuck. Because why? You have this beautiful promise at the end. It's like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Now, I might not have known exactly how amazing this pot of gold has been for me in terms of my health and my vitality and the fact that I'm in love. So it exceeded all of my expectations, but I needed to move beyond excuses. Now, a lot of people spend so much time wallowing in self-pity, woe is me, the situation that they're in. They focus all of their attention, all of their energy in that. It's a little bit like this. It's a little bit like having a cell phone with only a certain amount of battery life, and you are stuck on the side of the road because your car's broken down. Would you spend all of that cell phone battery life, or all of your airtime, would you spend all of that battery life and airtime phoning the wrong numbers? No, of course, and speaking to the wrong people that can't help you. No, of course you wouldn't. So when we're stuck in that toxic mindset where all you're doing is you are revisiting all the negative stuff that happened in your lives, and hey, put your hand up because we've all got negative stuff that happened in our lives. Please put your hand up. You've got so much negative stuff that happened in your life. We all have those stories. And sometimes you find that if you want to, you could group all that negative stuff and all the negative stories and all of the negative people will all sit huddling around each other, and they will just keep on festering over all the disappointments and the pity parties of how life has treated them badly. And yes, we've all been victims of circumstances and we've had things happen to us. The key here is, do you want to stay the victim, or do you want to move forward? Do you want to take responsibility again for your life? And when you start to realize that you have the freedom, you have the ability, you will always have people that will support you when you want to take that healthy step out of your negative mindset into a healthy place. It's amazing what starts to happen. It's almost like the whole of the universe starts to gear itself up to help you find opportunity where all you saw were challenges. And of course, this also speaks to our health. If you can just imagine staying in a toxic pool of negativity, you're just going to get toxic and sick, and ultimately you will die, because that's just the way it works. So we want to start to realize that we can make healthy choices for our lives. We can start to engage in healthy relationships. We can start to make some good choices as to what we are not going to accept for ourselves. So the greatest conversations we can have is the good, positive, powerful, God-given, life-breathing conversations that we can have for ourselves. When we do that, we energize ourselves and we give ourselves the ability to start to feel better. The more we focus on that environment and creating that environment day after day, it's like building a house, one brick at a time. And before you know it, 6-7 months down the road, you've got a whole house. But it started with putting down some good foundations and not accepting the things that you know for sure are going to lead you down the road to a woe is me, negative, menial paradigm, which will continually feed your existing state of mind. Now, remembering that we need to find passion and purpose in something that we look forward to, because you've got to have something that you want to see down the road that will lead you to along this journey, which is sometimes challenging at times. We accept the fact that life has its seasons. The key to the seasons is they change. They doesn't always stay winter. And you could be in the winter of your life right now, but ultimately you know that the summer is coming. But you've got to be able to realize that and sign up for the season anyway, even if it's difficult right now, because you've got the promise of the harvest coming down the road. And that is a God-given promise. We sow, we will reap what we sow. So we've got to be very careful what we start to sow in our lives. And I also believe that you have a responsibility, whilst you have God-given breath in your body, to sow positivity into your own life so you could become more. And when you become more, of course, you start to show up differently and you start to impact and influence other people positively. And when we do that, we take responsibility for adding value and adding life. Now, when we choose to just focus on our inward negativity, we sadly choose death instead of choosing life. We need people to show up. We need people to stand up. We need people to work well within themselves and grow themselves. And remember, you do that with support of people that love you, so that you can become more, so that you can give more. You cannot give, remember, that which you do not have. So work first on yourself, growing yourself. I've said a lot this morning, but I really just want to remind us that Sir George Bernard Shaw said, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old when we stop growing. Okay, so we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old when we stop playing. I think that's what he said. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old when we stop playing. So we've got to start playing this game of life, continually play the game of life. And the game of life requires us to have a sunny, happy disposition. We've got to start by moving beyond our own excuses. Quite often what happens is people will eventually ultimately start to sidestep you. They will start to walk away from you when they see you coming down the road, because you're always negative. You're probably going to pull them into your pity party, and ultimately people want to distance themselves from that. They rather go towards the sunlight, to the happy person, the person that can speak life, and to help them to also find hope and look forward to the positive things that ultimately healthy conversations will have. A couple of things around change is, first of all, remember that we're in the season of life, and sometimes you might be in the winter, but summer's coming. Remember that. Sign up for the season and stay until the harvest. What you sow, you'll reap. A couple of points on change is, first of all, 4 steps. Knowledge that I need to change. When you're in that place of saying, sure, I recognize the fact that I need to change. You acknowledge the fact that you need to change. Step number 1, I acknowledge the fact that I need to change. 2, do you have the desire to change? What is the motivating factor here? What is the thing that you're looking forward to? What gives you that desire to change? The happy, sunny end to your journey, the happy place, the vision that you have of the future will fuel your desire. And then we need skills. We need to find new coping methods. We need to find the tools that will help us to make this change. We can read them in books. We can look at them on the internet. We can consult with people that know how to help you make change. And then number 4, you've got to create new habits, healthy habits. Repetition of things creates habits, and you can literally change your life in 63 days if you start to create new habits day at a time. It's like building a house, 1 brick at a time. So those 4 steps again: knowledge that I need to change, 2, the desire to change, 3, the skills to help me change, and 4, learning to create new habits by recognition. As I wrap up this message, I want to just say that there are 4 steps in addition to that. And the first stage the first stage that we're in quite often when it comes to the opportunity to change is denial. We're in a situation for a long time, and we deny that we're actually in that situation. We deny that we've become negative, and we are in that place of denial. When you're in a place of denial, you've closed your mind to opportunity. So that's the first stage. It's a dangerous stage to be in. The second stage is the stage of resistance, which really ultimately is because of the fact that you fear the change. So you're resisting change. You know at this point that you really should consider changing, but you have a huge fear, and so you'd rather stay where you are. It kind of comforts you. Thirdly, you start to explore the possibilities. What if I was to change? How would it look? And that becomes exciting now, because you've now opened your mind up to the possibility. What would it be like? For me, 24 years marriage. 2 years ago, I literally stood in the dock on this day, and I said, yes, I need to be out of this marriage. Please grant me the permission to leave from a legal point of view. But I was in a place of exploring the options, how my life might be after that. And then you make the action, you take the action, and you commit to change, and then the freedom comes. So the first step, or the first stage there, is denial. Secondly is resistance, or the fear that you might have about change. Thirdly, you explore the possibilities. And then fourth, you take a committed step, and that's when the freedom starts to come. Guys, I hope that you can take some stuff out of today. Remember, nothing messes more with the human mind than, I'm going to say that again. Nothing messes more with the human mind than knowing that you need to change, but doing nothing about it. So please make the changes, move beyond excuses, take responsibility. Do not harp on the blame, but move forward into growth, vitality, and ultimately, not only will you change your own life, but you can influence positively the lives of so many people around you. So that was just a little acorn of information for you today. Hopefully you can work with that. Hopefully you can grow your life into a big oak tree. Cheers, guys. Thank you.